It sucks. It sucks really bad.
You almost solved all the issues.
I personally feel it's kind of bad.
There's a problem with Mortal Kombat 1, but let's start off with the good things first, and holy shit, was that game incredible. I mean, the combos, if you want a combo game, this is the game you want to buy. It took a little bit of getting used to for a little bit, but after a while, you start to figure out what your character can do, what the cameos can do, and holy shit, were those combos incredible. Like, I felt like a kid in the candy store playing this game. I mean, it was combo after combo after combo, and sometimes they didn't even do a lot of damage, but they looked so damn flashy. So hands down, this has the potential to be the best Mortal Kombat combo game of all time. But speaking of combos, let's jump into the cameos, and there is a lot of potential for cameos too. I mean, we only had 3 cameos, and I feel like I didn't even tap into all their potential yet. And to think we're gonna get like 15 or 20 cameos, that is crazy. If I had to rank each cameo, I'd probably say Sonya is on the bottom of that list. I mean, she has the potential to increase your combos and whatnot, but other than that, there's not really much she can do. After that, I'd say Jax and then Kano, or those can be kind of swapped depending on who your main roster character is. But there is a problem with these cameos, and I'm gonna get to that later in the video. Next up is graphics, and I feel like we're having the exact same conversation again as we do every single time a new Mortal Kombat game comes out, which is, does Mortal Kombat 1 look better than Mortal Kombat 11? Does Mortal Kombat 11 look better than Mortal Kombat X? Does Mortal Kombat X look better than Mortal Kombat 9? And the answer is always yes. The biggest thing that stands out from Mortal Kombat 1 to Mortal Kombat 11 is the lighting. It's like they perfected the lighting in this game. It looks so clean and so crisp. And I'm really a fan of the colors too. Like the coloring and the lighting, they did a phenomenal job. Speaking of graphics, next up is the design. And when I talk about design, I'm talking about the skins, the atmosphere, and the UI. And I gotta say, I'm loving all the default skins for the main roster characters and the cameo characters too. I love how the cameo fighters are sporting their classic looks. That is such a great idea. And the classic designs for the main roster characters were also great. The default main roster skins are not overly designed. They're pretty simple with just a little bit of spice added to it. Seeing their designs makes me really excited to see all the other characters. And for the UI, it was clean, it was bright, it was vibrant, it was easy to navigate. The only problem I have for the UI was the combo menu. Brusque Poet made a good note of this, and it was for the directional arrows for your combos. I think for me, the arrows were a bit too tiny and they were too close together, so it was really hard to tell which arrow I was supposed to be clicking. I think if they made it just a little bit bigger, it would probably solve the issue. Moving on to the music, and so far, I am in love with the music. It's not dry, it's not boring, it gets me excited to play the game, and actually thinking about it now, it reminded me of Black Ops 2. Some of the music in Mortal Kombat 1 reminded me of the music in Black Ops 2. And finally, the best thing for me is that there's no variations. Not to say that I hated variations, but I think in Mortal Kombat 11 and in Mortal Kombat X, people just tended to play the best variation and leave the other two behind. So it's good to see Mortal Kombat 1 take it back a notch, leave variations out of it, and focus more on the main roster and cameo roster fighting potential. It was kind of a relief in a way, not having to go through each variation, figuring out which one's the best, and then going through all that mess. But we're gonna have to do that with cameo fighters in a way, so we're gonna have to figure out, okay, which cameo fighter is best suitable for my main roster character. So I guess in a way that kind of is the variations in a way. Before we get into the cons of this game, make sure you guys leave a comment below. What are some good things and bad things you noticed in Mortal Kombat 1? Also, join the Discord, link is in the description. The first bad thing is the movement, and I know everyone's saying it so far, but I'm gonna clarify just a little bit more. The game does feel slower than Mortal Kombat 11, but when you're doing the combos, it feels a lot faster. I don't know if it's because there's a lot of inputs to do with cameos and you have all this stuff running in your head of what is the best thing to do, how can my cameo kind of fit into this. I don't know if it's all that coming into play, and I think the reason why the combos feel faster in a sense is because there's a lot to do. You have your main roster character and all of their abilities, you have your cameo roster character and all of their abilities, then you're trying to juggle your opponent in the air, you're trying to do some flashy combos, so I think there's a lot to process during that time, so it feels a lot faster. One thing everyone complained about was dashing. I noticed that a little bit when I was getting zoned, so that's the only problem that I really saw dashing come into play, because it would be full screen, I'd be getting zoned, and I feel like I just couldn't get in. And I think the only way I was able to combat that was to zone back and then slowly inch in. So I guess the only way to fix that would be to remove some of the zoning potential or to increase the dash speed. I don't know, one of those two could probably work. And this transitions right into cameos. I know I said cameos were amazing. They are. The combo potential is insane. I can't wait to see what other characters can do. However, there is a big problem with cameo fighters, and that is the cameo setups. I'll give an example of 2 cameo fighters, Jax and Sonya. When I'm playing as Liu Kang, I can literally jump in the air and do my special moves, which is the fireball. Now, if you're in a regular game, you're just gonna stand there and duck and not get hit by those fireballs, obviously. But if I have a cameo fighter, we'll say Jax right now for this example, and Jax does the ground pound, and then I jump and do the fireballs. You have to take it. There's no way of getting out of it. You're going to either get hit with the fireballs by jumping, or you're going to get hit with the ground pound by Jax. There's no escaping unless I time it wrong. So that seems a little bit unfair. I think there's a lot of combo setups too with Katana and Jax, or even Liu Kang and Jax in the corner. Like if I do a bicycle kick and I bring Jax out, you're already laying on the ground. All I have to do is jump up in the air and kick you. And that way, if you jump, you get hit down. Or if you're just going to stand there, you're going to get hit by the ground pound. So the potential setups for cameos are a little bit nuts right now. The next example is with Sonya, and I'm still going to use Liu Kang here. Liu Kang has a low fireball. So if I'm spamming that low fireball and I'm zoning you, and you're like, okay, I'm done with this low fireball, I'm just going to jump. All I have to do is call those Sonya as a cameo, and she does her dive jump or whatever the heck that is, and you get hit by it. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to probably have to take chip damage from this fireball, because if I get hit by Sonya, they could probably do a full combo. So it's like you're just going to take that chip damage. So again, the cameo setups are a little bit crazy here, and I think especially with Kenshi and Kano combined, when Kenshi brings out his spirit and then he has Kano as a cameo fighter, it's like you're just holding block the whole time. Especially since I think Kenshi has a low and then his spirit has an overhead. So it's like you're blocking low, blocking an overhead. If you call him the cameo, you have to block the knives. It's like, whoa, there is way too much going on here. They got to dial it down a little bit. I don't know if I'm being a baby about this or if this is a recipe for disaster, but when I was playing online or even with the CPU sometimes, and my opponent was close to dying and I just wanted to zone them out and chip them out, I felt so bad because I would just call them a cameo, I would be zoning them, and I'm like, dude, there is no way they're going to be able to get out of this. And finally, the last issue I had with Mortal Kombat 1 was the input delay. Now, this could be user error, right? I just could be inputting it wrong, but I feel like there were a lot of times where I was inputting my fatal blow to be exact, and it just wasn't coming out. I don't know if that was a me problem, was that a user error, but I feel like a lot of times when I was doing combos and I wanted to combo into a fatal blow, my opponent would just switch stance instead of doing a fatal blow, which I thought was very weird. It didn't seem as fluid as Mortal Kombat 11 or Mortal Kombat X or Mortal Kombat 9. And I get it, this is a stress test, it's not completely done yet, but I think a little bit of input delay, specifically for fatal blows, I saw an issue with. But let me know in the comment section below, what are some good things and bad things you saw when you played Mortal Kombat 1?